Well, God bless you, everyone. It is Monday night. And you know what that means? It's Check In Monday. So grateful to have you with us on tonight. And I'm always excited about Monday nights. I know for 1 or 2 Mondays I have not been on. I was traveling. And sometimes when you're traveling, I don't always take my laptop or things with me in the midst of traveling. So did not have it. So I thought I would come back on tonight. And for whatever reason, my printer decides to print. I don't have anything printing. I don't know what's going on. Maybe I better check in to see if the Lord's sending me a message or something. All right. But anyway, grateful to have you with us tonight. Thank you so much for being on. I see Sister Austin, Sister Johnson, Brother Owens. I see Sister Cunningham. And I see all of you. Thank you so much for joining. Please do me a favor tonight. You know how we do it. Do this. Like, share, and do those things tonight. And let me know. And just make comments and stuff. All right. So let me get right into this. Let me share tonight. I'm going to jump right into it on this Monday night. I pray and trust that many of you had a good holiday. As far as Memorial Day, it went well. And with not anything going on, you had a good day. So I appreciate you. And we've been certainly praying for everyone as we've entered, of course, into what is Memorial Day always officially says what is unofficial as far as summertime. Of course, we know that summer really doesn't come in until, June 20th. That's on a Thursday, but we can see that it's summertime sort of now. All right, and the kids out of school, whole lot going on and all those things. But I want to talk to you tonight, very brief, on this Check-In Monday. Something hit me this past week, and I was sharing it with my wife, and I want to share it with you. And that is, when I think back over my life and when I look at my age, of course, now, it looked like, I always say to people, it looked like 63 slipped up on me because it looked like I was just 18 or 19 not too long ago. And all of that. And when you're young, you're begging to get grown. You want to get out your parents' house or whatever. And you just, you say to yourself, oh, my God, I can't wait till I get grown. And you just begging to get grown. And then when you actually hit 18, 19, 20, and by the time you hit 21, look like that roller coaster takes off and it don't stop. It just keeps going and going and going and going. And next thing you know, you end up 63 or 50 or whatever. And you saying to yourself, man, that was quick. That was fast. It went by real quick. And so sometimes you look at things and you say, well, I hear a lot of things. And I remember my grandmother raised me. And so with being raised by my grandmother and being in various things, she would say a lot of things that when I was younger, I would listen to her. It's not too much like I had any choice in it, but I would listen to her. And there were some things she would share, some things my mother would share, some things my uncle would share, some things people would share. And when they would share them, sometimes you would be like, and because you were young, you just didn't really pay a lot of attention to it because you thought it was just your parent or somebody talking. You thought it was just somebody old just talking and sharing something. So you didn't pay a lot of attention to it. You was like, yeah, okay. But now think about this. There are things I didn't understand, but I understand them now. And I'm sure some of you feel the same way. There's some stuff you didn't understand when they were saying stuff, when they had sayings, when they were saying things. You didn't understand it, but now you understand it now. And let me go through this quick because some things we didn't understand. When we're young and when we're full of youth, sometimes we are still developing. even after we had got to be certain ages, even if you had got to be 17, 18, you were still developing. You were not fully developed even in your emotions and mind. You sometimes you had a lot of great ambitions and ideas and things that you wanted to do, but sometimes you were still not developed. In some conversations we sounded mature, but in a lot of things, our actions, we were undeveloped, even though we were moving. Sometimes it's like doing audio and video. Sometimes the audio doesn't match the video, and sometimes you have to use something to sync it up. And sometimes when we were young, we were thinking probably ahead, or we were maybe saying stuff probably ahead of our development. And so when you're young, sometimes you haven't developed, and you don't have, we think we had. And I can remember back when I was young, being a young man and coming up, I thought I had all the answers to everything. And I didn't. But during the time, you couldn't tell me that I didn't, because I thought I had the answers. I thought this is going to work like this. This is how it's going to go. And so when you're young and you feel with youth, all of us can remember that there were some things that we probably heard when we were young that we paid no attention to, or we didn't think it was going to apply to us as we went on through life. So we didn't pay that much attention to it. So we're undeveloped. And some things that we used to hear our foreparents say made absolutely no sense. Their wording didn't make no sense. Today is like every generation has his language or their words, or they have their whatever they have. And sometimes even with the young people today, you got to ask them, well, what does that mean? When they say certain words, you're like, what y'all talking about? Because some of their words, if we use them in our day, it meant something totally different. But to them, it means something else. And so the words didn't make any sense, and their sayings didn't make any sense, almost like they were talking in riddles or parables or something, and we didn't get it. We just didn't get it. And they would say stuff, and when they would say it, you would stop, because you thought they were just talking, and maybe they were sort of out of their head in what they were saying. You was like, okay, but you dare not talk back, but in your head you were talking, and you was like, that don't make no sense, or that's not going to apply to me, or that's not going to happen to me. And that's how we sort of process things, that it seemed like it made no sense. They knew what they were saying, but we couldn't comprehend, or we couldn't put it together, because at that time we didn't understand it. It made no sense to us when they would say certain things, when they would tell us not to eat certain things, or I still ain't figured out to this day. My grandmother, I was getting ready to eat some food together. I think it was ice cream and watermelon or something. I don't know what it was. Whatever I was getting ready to eat, she stopped me and wouldn't let me eat it, and said, don't do that. And during that time, I didn't ask. I just didn't eat it. I'm at 63 and can't remember. I don't remember her ever telling me why I shouldn't do it. She just said, don't do it. And so some things that they said and they did made no sense to us. Their words, their sayings made no sense to us. But now what I found out is we didn't understand some things then. Some things they were telling us, some things they told us not to do. Some places they told us not to go. Some people they told us not to hang out with. Some things they wouldn't allow us to do. And it made no sense to us. It didn't make no sense why you couldn't go over this person's house. It didn't make no sense why you couldn't hang out with your friends. And you would get an attitude about it, because you was like, that don't make no sense. In your head, you saying don't make no sense. Why can't I do it? And sometimes if you were bold enough, you even question, why can't I do it? But they had a insight. They had a discernment and a keenness about them that they could see what we couldn't see. And many times they had already experienced what we were trying to experience. And so it made no sense to us. Their wordings, what they said to us, didn't make no sense. We couldn't get it. But now time, what I found out is time gives you a better understanding. And so what we didn't understand then, as we've gotten older and our minds and spirits have matured and we have developed and grown into a place of maturity and adulthood, what we didn't understand then, time has given us better understanding of it. It was time that gave us understanding. For me, it's been time. Some stuff I'm just I don't want to even admit this, but some stuff I'm just locking into it. It's like the light bulb just went off. And I'm saying, oh my God, I get it now. I understand what they meant. I didn't understand it then because time and development had brought me to the place to understand what they were saying and what they meant. As a young person, it was riddles. As a young person, it was a puzzle. As a young person, it was a crossword puzzle. As a young person, it made absolutely no sense. But time has given me better understanding. And many of you can say it tonight, that time has given me better understanding. I didn't understand some stuff, but you can say time gave me better understanding. Now I understand what my grandmother meant. Now I understand what they meant. I didn't understand it before. But now I understand what they were talking about. Are y'all following me tonight? Now I understand. Time gives me better understanding. When you growing up, when you got parents and grandparents, sometimes and relating and everything. Sometimes you don't get it, but sometimes you can see that we got better understanding. Now, some of us, when we were young, and our parents would say stuff, when we were doing it, we didn't get it. Now that we are grown and we got children and had children, now we get it. We didn't get it then, but we got it now. And they would tell us, and we'd be like, now we see, watch this, now we see through our children and grandchildren what we didn't see when they were talking to us. And sometimes, in many cases, we're more harder, especially parents. Parents are more harder on their children than we were. I know it don't seem like that, but in many cases, parents are more harder on their children than we are. They really are hard on them, and we laughing at them because we like, that's you. That's you. That was you. That was you at 9. That was you at 10. That was you at 15. That's how you did. And now they understand the stuff you would say to them then. They didn't understand that. And grandparents, we're a little more lenient with the grandkids, but that was the thing that we really didn't get or didn't understand. And so now I didn't understand it, but now it makes sense. There are some things, and I won't go individually into these things, but just think about it where you are while I'm talking to you. There are some things your parents told you didn't make sense, but now it makes sense. There are some things your uncle and aunties and stuff said to you didn't make no sense, but now it makes sense. There's some conversations that you walked away from the conversation looking cross-eyed because it didn't make no sense. You just didn't see it like that. And in your mind, you was like, I don't see it like that. But sometimes down the road, once you mature, and all of us have had that moment. I preached a message not too long ago about a God moment. But all of us has had that light bulb moment. When that light pops on in your head. And sometimes you be like, man, I can't believe it took me that long to figure that out. It took me that long to understand that the light bulb just came on. I mean, it actually just came on. And some of you, if you admit it, the light bulb just came on. It's like, I didn't see none of that. I didn't see it, but now I see it. As a parent, as a grandparent, I see it now. Sometimes we talking to our kids now and our grandkids, they don't see that. That's nothing. First of all, they haven't developed into that place yet. So they don't get it. They don't see it. They don't understand that. So when you talking to them, they don't get it. When you look on TV and see some of the kids that go to these parties, I don't know if it's the parents just let them go, but some of them probably sneaked out the house and went into a party or something and end up in trouble or getting shot. How many times have you told, how many times were we told as young people not to hang with a certain group of people, but we did it anyway? And then we put it under the thing, y'all just trying to control me, y'all trying to, and not understanding that sometimes they love you more than you thought. And we like, they just trying to control me. Then what ends up happening is they end up where you be like, Then later on, when the light come on, you be like, what? No, they were trying to tell us all the time, but we just were not listening. We didn't understand, and in many cases, we weren't trying to understand because we wanted to celebrate our independence as a grown-up or whatever. So we didn't understand, and we weren't trying to understand. We weren't trying to get it. But now understand, if you can remember, these words keep on living. These words keep on living. Whatever they told you, it just keeps on living. It has not went away. That word keeps on living. What they said to us keeps on living. Sometimes when that light pop on and you begin to think about it, you say to yourself, I didn't get it. That's why some of us, if we honest, sometimes we almost got to go back and apologize to if your parent's still alive, you almost got to go back and apologize to your parent or apologize to somebody and say, I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you. Cause I didn't know. I didn't know. I had no clue. I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't understand then, but I got it now. And there's some things. I can remember back some of the conversations. My uncle used to tell me all the time when I was a young preacher, and you would have to go back and look at some of the stuff when I preach. I preach extremely fast. I preach so fast I was like doing the auction or something. And my uncle used to say to me all the time when I was young, he said, you need to slow down. You preach too fast. And I never forget saying to him, I'm going to be preaching like this. When I get old, I'm gonna be preaching the same way. Well, I have to tell you all that now I am 63. And if I could see him again, I would have to apologize to him because I didn't understand. And he said to me, oh yeah, that's what you believe. He said, but you're gonna slow down after a while. And I was like, no. But I want to tell you, I have slowed down a lot from what I used to. And he said that to me. He's like, He said, you gonna slow down? And then one other thing he used to say to me all the time, he said, it'll catch up with you. And that, because you be like, catch up with me. And then my grandmother used to say all the time, she used to say, just keep living. Now that's a word that all of us have heard. Just keep living. Just keep living. You be like, well, what does that mean? Because sometimes they be trying to share with us some things And we be like, no, that ain't gonna happen. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And they just say, just keep living and leave it at that. Just keep living. And so we didn't understand what all those sayings meant during that time. But they were saying, just keep living. Now, most of everyone here tonight that's watching live, and those of you that's watching on demand, most of you here tonight can say to yourself, and you can admit it, that they were right. That they were right. They were absolutely on point. There's some folk in jail tonight wish they would have listened at their parents. There's some folk in situations that wish they would have taken heed to those words, even though they sound like puzzles. We needed to take the time. And what you end up doing is you find yourself, when you get in certain situations, you hear them in your head telling you stuff that they told you before. You hear it. And you be like, I wish I would have listened. All of us, we didn't understand it then, but we understand it now. So I was sharing with my wife something yesterday. We were talking when we came back from church, and we were in the car, so I was sharing something with her. I won't share it with you what we were talking about, but I will say this. I told her, I said, I didn't understand that then. And it wasn't anything malicious. It's just I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. But now the light bulb is on. I get it now. And if I had it to do over again, if I had to deal with that person again, if I could see them again, and they're deceased, and we didn't get out of here, wasn't on no bad terms or whatever. But what I'm saying, because of the stuff they shared, and because of the stuff that I didn't understand, if I had an opportunity to do it over again, I would do it different. But now remember what I told you, sometime in our youth, we're not developed and we don't see things like that. We don't get it until later. We don't see it until later. Again, like a parent. Sometimes parents, we as grandparents, we can see parents that are harder on their children than we were on them. And we trying to figure out why y'all so hard, because that's what y'all did. But they like hard on theirs than we were on them. But they get it now, because sometimes, you don't get things. I remember one preacher said one time, he says, I used to criticize this preacher for the way he handled things and stuff like that. He said, but I was doing that because I did not have a church. I wasn't pastoring. He said, but once I started pastoring, then I started understanding why he did certain things a certain way. Why he did a certain thing a certain way. And you have to do that. I remember the late presiding bishop, G. Patterson, said this publicly. When he became the presiding bishop, he was saying that when Bishop Owens was the presiding bishop, Bishop Ford, he used to sit on the general board, and he used to say, I wouldn't do it that way. I would do it a totally different way. I would do this. He said, but once I became the presiding bishop, now I understand why they did the things they did and did them the way they did them. Because a lot of times when we sitting over observing, we see stuff. But when we actually there and it's actually happening, we see things different. So let me get out of here with this. So you remember those words, keep living. That's what they told us, keep living. So now it makes sense. It didn't make sense before, but now all of it makes sense. Now I can see it. The light bulb is on. The flashlight is shining on it. I got it. So what can we do? And I'm through. What can we do now that it makes sense for us? We can try, if you got a space, an avenue, we can try to teach and share with our children and grandchildren, nieces and nephews. We can try to share. because there's some things we have to share with them, or we can share it. I mean, even if they reject it, at least share it, because some of it will save them from headaches. It'll save them if you share it with them and say, this is what my grandmother shared with me. Because a lot of times people feel, well, that was in the 60s, but there's some stuff that was done in the 60s that still work in 2024. Some stuff that was done in the 80s still work in 2024. I know we think, well, it don't make no sense. That was when. No, some stuff still work today. It's like the old remedies that your parents used to do. People are like, that don't work today. Some of them old remedies still work. And some of us got a hold to them, and they work for us. They didn't go because it was done in the 50s or the 60s. Some of those remedies are still good. Some of the stuff they did for us is still good. So we need to try to teach and share with our children, our grandchildren, nieces, nephews, friends, especially those that are younger. Share with them, at least drop it on them. At least drop the note. At least put it there so at least they can hear it and go back. If they have to come back to it, at least they can grab it and say, somebody shared it with me. All right. Number 2, we need to pray for their understanding to increase. Sometimes we got to pray for understanding to increase. We got to pray that things will increase. Understanding will be better. Some people, they may have a hard time getting it, but we have to pray, God, give them understanding. And sometimes being critical don't always get the job done. Sometimes you just got to turn it over to the Lord. Pray for them. And when the Lord turns that light bulb on and turn that switch on, you ain't got no problem out of it. You ain't got no problem. So you need to share some things. These things need to be shared, all right? Let me get out of here. And then the last one is we need to share wisdom whenever we get a chance. God has left us here for a reason. We're not just here. We've been here a long time. I oftentimes wonder, I said, Lord, what, when I came through the COVID thing, I never forget our state supervisor said these words. She said, somebody had to be left to tell the story. And so for 63 years of what God has poured into me, 48 of that ministry and stuff like that, and then the wisdom of a father or a grandfather, it's time for me to use this wisdom, not be selfish, not take it with me, but to pour it in to those connected to me, whether it's members, whether it's family, whether it's grandkids, whether it's children. Pour into them, share that wisdom with them, because it may seem like it's going away, but it's not. The Bible said, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he won't depart. You've got to train, you got to teach, got to pour that wisdom. I thank God for the people that pour wisdom into me. So there's some things I just don't do. It's not because I may not have a desire to do it. It's because of the wisdom that they poured into me. And watch this. This is something I want to say. I got to get out of here. Sometimes if you like wisdom, the Bible says you ask of God. But sometimes God will use other people that's got wisdom to pour wisdom into you and me. And they'll pour it into us. And if we listen, we will avoid a lot of pitfalls, headaches, and stuff that we're trying to figure out. We need them to pour their wisdom into us. You need to pour it into you. Sometimes we can't allow the older saints, they're getting out of here. We can't allow them to get out of here. Don't allow your grandmother to get out of here. Don't allow your mother and father to get out of here without gleaning and pulling on them for certain things and wisdom. Don't allow your grandparents to get, don't allow it. Grab a hold to people and let that wisdom get poured into you so you can use it. And it will be, it's like people pouring and sharing wisdom and pouring wisdom into you is like somebody depositing money in your account. You hear what I said? It's like depositing money into your account. That's what it is. If you get that wisdom, get that knowledge, guess what? You'll never be broke. And I'm not just talking about financial broke. You will never be broke, because anyone that's got wisdom and understanding will never be broke, because you'll always have something you can glean from, grab a hold to. And that's right, Brother Owens, it's priceless. So don't let them get out of here, because you don't want to be saying, man, I wish my mother was here. I wish my father was here. I wish I could talk to them one more time. Why? You got an opportunity to talk to them now. Get that wisdom, get that understanding. You may not agree with everything they tell you. And I don't think they're trying to get you to agree with everything. They want you to be independent or whatever, but at least let them pour into you so you can get something. All right, I'm through. I'm finished, y'all. I pray and trust that you got something out of this. It didn't make sense then, but it makes sense now. All right? And so I know you are blessed. Let's pray. Father, I thank you for those that have joined me on this Check-In Monday. God, I thank you for this wisdom that you have opened up to us, this understanding that you've given us tonight. God, and I pray that you would bless somebody, whether young or whether older, God, to grab a hold to the wisdom that is available to us, not only from you, but from others, things that we may not understand. We don't get a clear understanding of it, but help us, God, to stay where we will develop. Help us to stay where we will increase in knowledge and wisdom, to understand those things that are said, that we will be blessed, that we can pass them on not only to our children, but to our grandchildren, to our children's children. God, give us the wisdom to be able to walk through this life. And God, as you touch us and give us wisdom, we'll be able to do it, and we'll give your name glory, honor, and praise. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate you all for joining me on these Check-In Mondays. Thank you so much. I'll be back the Monday after this Monday, next Monday, which is the 10th. I'm going to be on vacation, y'all. Can y'all believe it? It's been a couple of years since I went on vacation, so I'm going on vacation. And me and Lady Martin going on vacation, and they told us we got to get out of here and go on vacation, so we're going on vacation. I want to thank some of the members that have been sharing with us. And you see my Cash App. If you want to help me and share with us, go on vacation, you can drop me something tonight. I'll appreciate it. And if this has blessed you, drop some anyway. The Cash App, the $DLMSR. All right. The Lord bless you, and the Lord keep you tonight. Thank you so much. Y'all stay safe, stay blessed, and keep on keeping on. And know that I believe that what we didn't understand, since God has given us understanding, and we know now, and the wisdom that has been shared with us, we're going to be a blessing to someone else and share with others. Now, listen, if you want to follow me, do this. You can follow me. Just text the letters DLM to 833-675-6263. Whenever I'm online, you'll be able to I'll connect with you and let you know that I'm online, and you'll be able to follow me with whatever we're doing, and you'll be blessed. Thank you so much again for joining. Someone asked me for this the other night. This here, Help I'm Grieving, Dealing with the Process. It's a book. It's probably been out over a year now. You can still get it on Amazon. You can get it by going to my website, dlmartin.org. It's $14.95. It'll certainly be a blessing. It's a good read, and you can be a blessing to do that. All right? So I want you to do that on tonight. Brother Owens put Lady Martin's Cash App on the thing. That's $June Pace Martin. Let me get back on here so I can do that. Some of y'all love Lady Martin and y'all want to be a blessing. You can do that. There it is right there. You want to be a blessing to her. That's our Cash App. You can be a blessing to her and do that. There are many people that just love her dearly. If you want to bless her, you can do that on tonight. Well, the Lord bless you and the Lord keep you is my prayer. Thank you so much for being here with me. I'm looking forward, amen, to going on this vacation. Y'all pray for us that we enjoy it and have a lot of fun. All right? The Lord bless you and the Lord keep you. Thank you so much. I'll see you. Let's see. Thank you so much. All right. God bless you.